Richarlison, most punchable face.
I wouldn't say most. He's definitely up there, at least for me.
Oh, who's
yeah,
who? Okay, all right. Let's do this. This is just gonna be our cold open here. Who is your Mount Rushmore punchable faces in the Premier League?
Oh, in the Premier League.
Yep.
Oh,
because there's that picture floating around of Bruno Fernandes, Garnacho, and Anthony saying the three most punchable faces. And I don't disagree that they're punchable faces.
Yeah, it means a lot. God damn it, I don't know what it is about your face, but I want to deliver one of these right in your suck hole.
Is there anything I can do to work on that?
No, not really. It's your face. And again, you're doing great, man. This is the Kettling Wine Mix. We're all having a great time. Everybody's having fun. You pulled it off, all right? But if you don't change your face, I'm going to change it for you.
Okay. All I can do is take that in and consider it, and I'll just try to do my best version of whatever I think that would be.
I don't even hear what you're saying right now because your face is driving me nuts.
Thanks again, though.
Oh, tits. Hold on.
I would say for me, number one, Casemiro.
Okay.
I've hated him for God knows how long, even when he was with Real Madrid, and the fact that we're making this Premier League only helps my case. Yeah, Casemiro number one. And so we're looking for a Mount Rushmore. Ooh. Yuri Mina.
It's a big face to punch.
Yep. But still worth it. Richarlison, definitely. I know you were big on him, but he's still just a fucking douchebag. I don't care. Oh, well, and I heard the announcers, oh, he's a problem for anybody. Yeah, because he's a fucking douchebag and a crybaby. Yeah. Grow a fucking set, and then let's see what you can do. Granted, he still has not scored for Tottenham. I'd just like to point that out. So 72 mil well spent, apparently. Who would be the other punchable face? I'm trying to run through the gambit of teams. I like him. Like, I really like this guy, but John McGinn.
Okay, I think that one's fair. I have the same opinion.
I love the way that he plays, but God, he just has a face that you just want to throw haymakers at.
Well, let me give you.
Let's say what are yours?
Phil Foden.
Yeah.
Especially when he's doing his.
Yeah.
Like, God, it's so
knob. Yep.
Richarlison, very punchable face.
Oh yeah. Actually, question: is it more of a punchable face or a punchable haircut or hair color?
I think one leads into the other.
Yeah.
So I think we got some gray area there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, we got a lot of blonde area there.
Harvey Elliott.
Okay.
He looks like the equivalent, the English equivalent of a like West Virginia hillbilly.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see it.
And then Jurgen Klopp.
Oh, I didn't know we were including managers.
I know. I just didn't want to throw.
Oh, yeah. I
didn't want to throw Garnacho or Anthony, or I didn't want to copy anybody's work. So
no, I mean Anthony. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people.
Jordan Pickford.
Ooh, yeah, yeah. I like that one. I would almost say Ederson too.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, he looks like he tried to be like a forward, but he just sucked and he became a goalie because nobody else could figure out where to put him.
Bobby Chompers, honorable mention.
No,
No,
for me, no. He's got his teeth straightened out, so he's got a very good set of teeth. It's hard to argue against that. I mean, for Chelsea, I would say Mason Mount. I would punch him in the face all day.
Kepa has a very punchable face.
I don't think so. Me personally, I don't think so. Mason Mount, I don't even think it's his face. I just want to punch him.
Hakeem Ziyech also has a punchable.
Yeah,
face.
I was just about to go there. I was like, yeah, Ziyech could also fall into that category. Also Kai Havertz.
Yeah,
he has a very thin, a very pronounced jawline and cheekbones, and one solid shot, and he's out for 4 months. So
and he's always got that dumb look on his face.
Yeah. RDF, resting dumb face.
Oh. See, look at all the things we get to do when Parker's not on the pod.
It's Yemi Baki Yoko. Oh, yo. Samina Mina. Edward Mende. Samina Mina Sam Sadakte. He comes from Senegal.
And I think going out and get Sowell was the top transfer of the market for Chelsea.
Chesney could have been in the shower smoking a cigarette like he was at Arsenal, and we still would not have scored.
My rants have been fueled by Scotch. Don't get it twisted.
Big Rom. Man, fuck you.
In Roman we trust, right?
You and me are going to have a battle royale about Jorginho and diving.
The flag stays down!
Welcome to the Flag Stays Down podcast, Chelsea podcast by a bunch of guys who just watch a lot of Chelsea games. Tonight, it's just a tag team of guys who are 1 goal and assist shy of matching Joao and Enzo for the season. You've got Matt at Matus Lee. You've got myself, Andy, at Comiskey North. Parker is out of commission for a little bit here as he's actually traveling to London, hopefully to maybe get that new manager bounce or, become the manager. I don't know. But Parker, good luck to you out there. Matt, how you doing?
Doing well. Yeah, aside from the game today, very productive weekend at the household. Got a bunch of stuff done, setting up stuff for the nursery. Got to go to good friend of ours, Collins, you know my buddy Danny. It was his son's first birthday over the weekend, so we got to hang out and do that in typical adult fashion. The gentlemen were outside having beers and everybody else was inside with the kids, so can't complain. Overall good weekend, got some stuff done. Had a fire today, grilled up some burgers. I mean, what more can you ask for? Especially on a beautiful day like today. It really doesn't get much better than that. Collins, how was your weekend? Everything go well?
Yeah. I've decided I'm not wearing any Chelsea gear until we win a game, so I may not wear it until 2024. So yeah, I know we're not on Twitch tonight, but I'm rocking the Ford Madison. I got my season tickets coming on the way. I ordered those this weekend, so looking forward to that. We talked with Connor Kaloya, the COO of Ford Madison, earlier this year. Certainly go check that out. It was great talking with him about building soccer here in Milwaukee, and Ford Madison is an experience all of its own. So, but yeah, it was a tough day Chelsea wise, but like I said last week, it leads to some good workouts as well. So today was bicep and tricep day. So angry biceps.
Yep. Attaboy. Way to get after it.
All right. Well, Matt, we're on episode number 29. Getting into the weeds here. But let's pick a player to represent this episode here. And I've decided to kind of standardize our options here.
Okay.
There has to be one academy product in there. There has to be a current player if available. Has to be a player who wore it for multiple years. And then just a random big name. So here are your 4 options. The current holder, Kai Havertz. The academy product, Tomasz Kalisz. Big name player, Samuel Eto'o. And a player who wore it for several years, Robert Huth. And yes, it's that Robert Huth.
Ooh.
So Matt, who are you taking for number 29?
In honor of our brother that can't join us tonight, I'm gonna throw it out to Samuel Eto'o. He's been great everywhere that he's been. I still remember the sneak attack goal that he had and everything like that. And I know Parks is big on Cameroon and everything like that. But yeah, for me, it's got to be Eto'o. I can't give the nod to Kai with just my dislike for Kai. So, but big shout out to Robert Huth. Like, you got to respect the kid, right? He ended up being one of the anchors of the Leicester team that won the Premier League in 15-16. So you got to put respect where it's due. But for me, it's got to be Samuel Eto'o.
Yeah, it's Eto'o for me as well. Though I do have a soft spot for Kalisz. He was one of those big names coming up when I was first getting into really diving deep into Cobham. Made a nice little career for himself after being on loan for 7 or 8 years. He's been with Bristol since 2019, everyday starter there. And he's got, I think probably 20, 30 caps for the Czech national team. It's a decent career for a guy who didn't pan out at Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let's go Eto'o. I know that'll make Parker happy.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I think he's kind of a lock for that position. And I know how you feel about Tomasz Kalisz. I remember when we first started playing FIFA, like that was your guy, right? Just keep him on the squad, let him grow, and he'll be something big. And yeah, no, I definitely liked him, but yeah, definitely Eto'o.
All right. Well, before we cheers to Eto'o, Matt, what are you drinking tonight?
4 Roses bourbon and a Bush latte.
Oh,
It's been that kind of a day. So looking forward to it. Collins, what do you have?
Well, me, the semi-practicing Catholic that I am, gave up alcohol for Lent. So
On purpose?
Yeah, I realized after the fact that really the only time I drink is on this pod. So
yeah, I appreciate your efforts. I appreciate your sacrifices, but you picked the wrong day.
Yeah. So in its place, I'm drinking a Ghost energy drink, orange cream flavor. I figure this is gonna be a long pod, so I need a little boost.
Fair enough.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers. I'll drink for you. How about that?
All right. Well, on tonight's pod, we only had one match this week. Wow, that's weird. But it was kind of a stinker. 2-0 loss. Both goals coming in the second half for Tottenham at Tottenham Stadium. And the hot seat gets even hotter, I would say, for Graham Potter. Don't know how long they're going to let that thing burn, but it's been smoldering for quite a bit here. So Matt, I know you and I didn't get a chance to watch the game together today. But you originally missed the first half. But what were your impressions of today's match?
It's tough week by week watching this team. We always talk about the talent that we've acquired and trying to get people out there and stuff like that. And I find it difficult because we see different people kind of showing out every game. Like we don't really see that consistency with the exception of a couple people, right? Specifically when we talk about the attack. Kai, to me, again, was not great. Not saying he's bad, just not great. But we saw Raz be more productive than he's been in the last probably 3 months. Ziyech, I don't even know where to begin with him. It was just one of those things where it seemed like it's more the individual, like almost like everybody's looking for the individual accolades more than the team accolades. I guess that's probably the best way I can put it. We have a lot of talent, a lot of individual talent at that point, but making it come together as a whole, it still seems to be the issue. And the fact that we have different players playing well on, different occasions, right? I just talked about Raz. I thought he had a really good game. Kai's been consistently meh. Some good, some bad, but meh. Ziyech, I mean, roll the dice and let me know what you get. It's pretty much at that point with him. RLC, I didn't think was great. He was just kind of out there. Enzo for me was meh by his standards or the standards that we've seen so far. Nothing great, nothing bad. Just again, to me, he seemed like he was kind of out there. Definitely better than RLC, but he was just kind of there. Yeah, I mean, Reese, you get what you get out of Reese game in and game out. He's a very consistent player. Chills, I enjoyed seeing the fight in him. That was something new. I think depending on, with this official, he probably would have gotten a red card for doing anything if Kooks was in, but I don't know. It just seems like everybody's trying to like make their name for themselves, and they're not. I wouldn't say that they're not concerned about scoring, but it's like they're the ones that want to score. It's not like the team wants to score. It's the individual wants to score. So it's just a kind of a weird spot. But I thought Tottenham capitalized on their chances. Oliver Skip, aka Alan Tudyk. Look him up. Looks the exact same. He hit a hell of a ball. He put a hell of a move on it. Really solid strike. I think I don't know how much blame I want to put on Kepa for that, because when you watch the replay, Koulibaly was trying to head it away, and I think that might have deterred Kepa from moving that way a little bit sooner. But he did get a hand on it, but it's a hard hit ball. There's only so much you can do. But the goal for Harry Kane, I thought, was just poor. From a defensive standpoint, you have Eric Dyer going up and over Mason Mount, which why do you have Mason Mount on him? And then from I didn't see it, but from what I understood, Raz was on Harry Kane. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Why you would have the smallest person on the pitch go up against one of the best strikers in the Premier League and one of the tallest people on the pitch. It didn't make sense to me, but I don't know. I think Tottenham deserved the win, but I do think that, you know, obviously with Chelsea, there's a lot to be desired in what we did. And I also think that we showed a little bit more physicality than we have in the past, which was good to see. We showed a little bit of fight, but not enough. And if anything, too little, too late.
Yeah, I would agree with that assessment, especially the too little, too late in terms of showing some fight. I don't know why with this team, especially under Potter here, under Tuchel, it was we would concede and then things would get chaotic, right?
Mhm.
No one was on the same page. Here, it's we don't show fight until we concede, which I don't understand. I think this game was missing a Diego Costa type. It was missing a John Terry, missing somebody who can self-police on the pitch. Stuart Atwell did not have control of that game. Very poorly officiated, and definitely could have used someone to be an enforcer out on the pitch. I thought bringing on Zakaria, it was too little, too late there. He would have been a perfect choice to kind of boss that midfield because, like you said, Ruben was kind of lost in the mix. Yeah, it's just this. There's a lot of things in this match where it was like, why are we doing this, or why did this happen? You talked about the fight coming on late. Why did we decide in the last 10 minutes to start crossing the ball into the box when that's Chills and Reece James's strong point, right? Mudryk does it well, but he came on too late. The Hakim Ziyech apology tour is still ongoing for some reason. I personally would have preferred to see Madueke out there. He's a former Spurs academy guy who they let go. Like you can't tell me down the right wing he wouldn't have a chip on his shoulder. Mm-hmm. That's what we want in this team. So I thought that was an odd choice. To see Ruben Loftus-Cheek out there again was a weird thing. There's something weird going on with Kova. I don't know what it is. But he seems to have been frozen out. I have my doubts that he was ill again for this match. And then you see Kai Havertz week in and week out. I don't know. Like I thought he played okay today, but his reaction times are terrible. Anytime we're on the break, he slows the play up. Datro Fofana would have been a nice choice there, I think. Again, somebody with some physicality, getting people's faces, right?
I mean, especially in a game like that, in a derby.
Somebody to annoy Sergio Romero.
Christian Romero.
Yeah, sorry, Christian Romero.
No, but I mean, same punchable face. Yeah.
Yes.
But no, I completely agree. And again, you touched on it. The officiating was fucking piss poor. I remember watching Chilwell pull down Emerson Royale by his shirt. Advantage. Oh, okay. Even me, as a Chelsea fan, I was like, that's should be a yellow. Like there was no hiding that. Like he was pulling on his jersey, he took him down. No, just let it go. But then you have something like Christian Romero damn near taking out Kai.
I was just about to say, I think that one was my favorite. And
then
Mason
no foul, nothing.
Mason Mount comes over to defend Kai Havertz.
Yeah.
And immediate yellow card.
So bad. I'm honestly happy that I only watched the second half, so I can only imagine what the first half looked like.
Well, Matt, before we get into our squad rankings here, let's talk a little bit about the officiating. I know that we already touched on some of the comical bits of it here, but the big talking point at the end of the first half was Hakeem Ziyech's sending off and then sending off reversal.
Yep.
So Ziyech taken down. You got get into a tussle. A couple Spurs players. A bit of brawl ensues. Emerson Royale comes out of nowhere. Body checks Ziyech. Ziyech reaches across, nearly gets him in the face. So Stuart Atwell originally gave cards to about 4 people and then not to Ziyech, and then gave a red card to Ziyech, and then it went to VAR, and then it was reduced to a yellow card. And keep in mind, Stuart Atwell is a veteran referee in this league. Matt, what do you make of the whole situation? Was a yellow card ultimately the right decision?
I can understand a yellow. So it's really interesting, and I know Graham Lasso was the one doing commentary, and they beat the hell out of this point in the second half. Yeah, letter of the law, if you go for the head or the face, it should be a red. He went for his shoulder. He wasn't doing anything malicious. He wasn't pulling a Casemiro and going right for the throat. He was just trying to push him away. At least that's how I took it. And I could be a little bit biased, so that's perfectly fine. It looked like he was just pushing him away. He got the top of his shoulder, and then momentum just took him and got him in the face. I have no issue with it. I think that's perfectly fine. My issue is the fact that Stuart Atwell, as you said, a veteran official, pulled a red right away. That, to me, does not make any sense. On the flip side, and this is where I kind of have questions, and this is where I, for once, actually agree with the commentary. Atwell was going to pull a card on Ziyech's first challenge. Apparently, that just kind of went away, and then the other one came through, and it was just a straight red, not even a yellow. It was just a straight red. Argument could be made that it should have been 2 yellows and then a red. If that was the case, I could understand. But how it went from a potential yellow, and he had the card out, and then he just went straight red. But how it got from that, how it got from a yellow to a straight red, to me, made no sense. And even when the commentary was like, oh, it wasn't, I forgot
it didn't meet the threshold.
Right. It didn't meet the threshold, which I agree. It didn't meet the threshold of a straight red. I would agree with that. But he had a yellow already in his hand for the original tackle. Then the scuffle after, he just went straight red. So it was, to me, that summed up everything about the officiating that happened today. It really just summed the whole thing up. I thought it was poor on both sides. Honestly, on both sides, not just for Chelsea. I thought it was poor on both sides. I just mentioned the Chilwell literally pulling the jersey and taking down Emerson Royale, and no, just advantage, play it, and no card. I was shocked by that. To me, that indicates that that Stuart Atwell had no control over this match. And you have to know going into this match, it's going to be physical. You have to know that. It seems like he didn't get the memo. It was weird. Everything, all of his calls were just really weird. You would get some ticky-tack fouls there. You're like, okay. And then getting taken out and then, oh, no, just play advantage and go from there. No, it's just a foul. It's like, no, that's definitely a card. Even the one on, I think it was Ben Davies. He just shouldered somebody. Fine. That's perfectly acceptable. I don't think it's a yellow. But no, he pulls a yellow. I'm like, really? He had no control over the game. I thought it was piss poor to the nth degree. And that goes both ways, right? It's not just pro Chelsea or anything like that. Both ways. It was just a poorly officiated match.
634 career matches he has officiated over the last 16 years. How do you let that happen? I really struggle to understand why English officiating is so poor.
Mm-hmm.
It's you know, they're the ones who talk about it. It's the birthplace of the game, right? You know, it's coming home. Dude, it's so bad. And like you said, it's just inconsistent, and he lost control of the game. Gosh, I think I tweeted out on the, find us at Flag Down Pod on Twitter. It's about the 30th minute. So we're going to see a fight in this game. No more than like 5 minutes later, 6 minutes later, there's a bit of a tussle on the pitch. I think, like you said, Graham Lasso did a great job on this game. He called it out in, probably the 40th minute. One of these times you have to show a card because that's going to prevent further stuff from happening. But he didn't. He just let play go on to a crazy degree. And I'm fine with some of the yellows that were handed out. Like Ziyech, fine. If you want to make that a yellow, it's a yellow. Whatever. Honestly, it could have gone either way, and I would have been okay with it.
I think collectively he deserved a yellow if you include the tackle and then the scuffle after. Yellow, right. Perfectly fine.
But Kai Havertz coming into the scuffle, probably deserved a yellow. Mason Mount's yellow, like I said, was weird, where Havertz was chopped down by Romero and Mount goes over to complain, and instant yellow. Like you said, Davies' yellow was a weird one, just a shoulder check, like cool. Emerson Royale absolutely deserved his yellow card. But Romero, the amount of cheap shots he took, probably deserved a yellow. Ben Chilwell had some pretty horrendous tackles, probably deserved a yellow.
Yep.
Richarlison deserved a yellow easily. He was the one who he instigated the fight.
Honestly, he deserves a yellow anytime he steps on the pitch. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, it's just a very, very, very poorly officiated match. That being said, I don't think it changes the result of this game at all. It's easy to bitch about, right?
Right. And again, like the point that I want to make is, and the point that you made, it goes both ways. Like, it was just poorly officiated going for Chelsea, going for Tottenham. It was just poorly officiated. Does it change the outcome? No, not in a single bit. But when you look for consistency, and that's what we've always harped on this pod about, give me an official that can produce some sort of consistency with how they treat fouls and stuff like that. there was no consistency whatsoever. This game, for a senior official, it seemed way above and beyond what he was capable of. Which that goes to say a lot if that's one of your senior guys in a London derby, which historically has been very physical. I wouldn't say violent, but chippy might be the best way to say it. And you have no control over it from the get-go. No. It's poor at, and that's probably the nicest way I'm going to put it right now.
All right, man. Well, let's turn to our players here. We had talked about how pretty much every player, and we'll go just starters here. There wasn't really any neutral ground, right? It was either they were a positive or they were a negative. So let's just go through the list here and see what we can come up with. Let's start up top. Kai Havertz, positive or negative?
Is there a meh column in that whole thing?
Negative.
Is there just a Kai?
Kai being Kai.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the way that I look at it. Nothing good, nothing necessarily bad, at least how we expect bad. I would honestly lean towards neutral out of Kai. Sorry, I know that's not in the.
I know I just said no
negative,
neutral,
but I know, but I feel like with Kai, neutral is his only speed.
Well, if we're gonna make it like a 1 to 5 scale, then 1 being terrible, 5 being good. I'll bump him down off that 3 to a 2 because I thought he was terrible. Not terrible. I thought he was bad. Couple easy looks. Not easy looks, but close looks where his reaction time was just terrible. Enzo's putting in great balls, and just nothing. Turns and easily beaten by a defender, and then gets another needless yellow, like he does in most big games. So I'll be the one to bump Kai down to the negatives.
I wouldn't be. I'm not going to argue with you on that one. Let's put it that way. Again, Kai is Kai.
So behind him, had another 3 in attack. Sterling, Felix, and Ziyech. Where do you put those guys?
Raz, positive. João Felix, positive. Ziyech, at this point, I think he's just looking for a red card just to get himself out of the match. I really think he's looking for it, but I would say negative for him.
I agree. I thought Raz had one of his better games since returning from injury, and even prior to the injury. His dribbling didn't slow down the match as much as it had earlier in the season. João Felix was everywhere. I appreciate João Felix being everywhere and looking to create from everywhere. And yeah, Ziyech, he had a couple left-footed curlers. I'm like, oh yeah, he's going to shoot here, and then he did, and that was wide, and whatever. Had it not been for the yellow or the potential red, I think he fits kind of in that Kai Havertz meh territory.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think that just kind of derailed the match for Chelsea. So yeah, I'm good with negative on him.
Yeah, and I mean, I like the fight out of him, right? I mean, that's kind of what we've been talking about, what we want. Like, we want some sort of fight. And he'll do it. Like, he has no problems with it. But yeah, I think he picks the wrong time to try and start those fights.
All right, so next we got our midfield pairing of Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Enzo Fernandez.
Enzo's Enzo, positive. RLC, didn't even know he was playing. Like, and we've talked about this. Like, he had 2 really good games, and we thought that the partnership might work, but now it seems like it's overkill. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but it seems like they're trying to force that partnership to happen, and it worked for 2 games, but now it's just been piss poor, and he gets lost.
It's like that guy who tells a funny joke once and then tells it a million times after that, trying to get the same reaction. But yeah,
Yep.
that's what I get out of Ruben.
Yep, that's a fantastic analogy.
I know that you're holding, judgment. You're reserving judgment on Enzo for a little while here. I thought he was fantastic again. I think he had his little bit of like, there were moments where you could tell like, oh, he's still adjusting to the league. Just the pace of people closing him down. And I can't wait for N'Golo Kante to come back, because I think N'Golo Kante picks up a lot of the defensive work that Enzo's being asked to do right now. And I haven't seen somebody distribute the way Enzo does for Chelsea since Cesc Fabregas. Like, this is what we wanted Jorginho to be. And he was for a half a season somewhere in there, right? But just the diagonal balls, switching play from one side to the other, the balls over the top to a sleeping Kai Havertz, like, it's great. You just need somebody on the end of these. So I agree. Enzo positive, RLC negative. All right, back 4. Reece James, Thiago Silva. Let's go Thiago Silva / West Fofana. Koulibaly, and then Benny Chills.
I would say
start with Reece James.
Reece is Reece. I think he is always positive. I think the only negative thing I've ever seen out of him was the own goal that he had like a year ago. That might have been the only time where I was like, yeah, that's a negative. You can't come back from that. Other than that, he's positive. I thought the Silva Fofana, that whole thing, which we might touch on later, but I feel like Fofana did well. I don't really have any issues with him. It's good to see him back. I think he brings a little bit of aggression with him, that chip on the shoulder. And he brings some pace, which Thiago Silva, granted, he's 38. Like, you can't ask that much out of him, but he provides you that pace. I thought Koulibaly, I wouldn't say he did great, but he did better than what we've come to know from him, or better than what we've expected out of him in recent performances. And Chills, I liked him better than Cucurella. I mean, that's my kind of positive. He showed a lot of fight, which I enjoyed, pushing people around and shit like that. Like, I love that. And he showed it. So I'm all in favor of that. I would have, again, preferred Chills over Cucurella. So me personally, I thought that he was positive. Argument could be made for Kai territory.
And I will take up that argument. I thought Chills was poor. Bunch of rash tackles. His defending was suspect, I will say. He didn't offer much in attack, as far as I could see. A lot of times he was playing further ahead on the pitch than Raheem Sterling was, which confused me, and I think it did not ultimately lead to the first goal for Spurs, but we still had Raheem Sterling back in defense, which was not pretty. So yeah, I think Chills just kind of offered up a big nothing burger for me. So for me, he was a negative. The other three, I think were positive. I like what you said about Wes. He brings a little bit of a bite to him. Koulibaly, I think, has been on a little bit of a run here of good matches, which is good to see. Still has his shaky moments, and I think we've seen that as well. But there was one where he early in the first half. So you may not have caught this one, but Spurs had the ball on the left side of the box, and we're trying to square up a ball. Koulibaly ran from the other side of the box to intercept and boot the ball out of bounds, which may have saved us a goal. So I don't know if he's adjusting or if this is just a good run of form. I will hold judgment on that, but I thought he was a positive.
Yeah. I completely agree. I think he's been on a very good run. I mean, obviously we know with our group chat, we talked about, 8-5 against Dortmund, right? But I do think that he has been more positive, or maybe more reliable than how we previously thought of him. I do think that he is adjusting, and maybe he's found that point where he can adjust, and where he's, ready to go with the Premier League. I just think that, again, like we say, small sample size. He's had 3 good games, and we just need to see that, I think, more consistently. But yeah, I thought that he had a solid game today.
So last but not least, Kepa Arrizabalaga. Can I start on this one?
Please.
Negative.
Ooh.
There were a couple balls. There were a couple balls in the first half. One, oh man, who was it? Højbjerg hit the post. Kepa didn't even budge. Soft hands on the goal, and yet another goal that he concedes from outside the box. And then he goes on to kind of get Spurs fans riled up, which is not what we needed at that point. By time wasting. We need more out of a keeper than what we saw. Kepa has been decent this year. Like, I'm not saying he's been poor all year, but in this match, Spurs exploited all of his flaws. He was, again, very slow to react on balls, didn't react on some. He couldn't command the four in front of him in Fofana, Koulibaly, James, and Chilwell. A lot of miscommunications there. Just it wasn't good. Fraser Forrester, when Fraser Forrester outclasses you, you know there's a problem. So for me, Kepa's a negative.
Fair points. I don't know that I have anything to combat that. I will take a softer approach to it. I would put him at a high level, a neutral. Oliver Skip hit probably the best strike he's ever hit in his entire life. I think it was pure. Koulibaly was inches away from trying to head it, and I think Kepa thought that he was going to get there, and he tried to make a late move on it on a hard hit ball, and he got a palm on it. Again, wasn't strong, but at that point, how strong can your wrist be when a ball's getting hit like that? I think that this will probably lead into a different discussion around. I don't know or I don't think that Kepa has been put in a position where he needs to manage the back line. Usually that is a Thiago Silva type role, where he handles that whole thing. Then he goes off injured. You have Koulibaly, you have Fofana, Chills and Reese. I mean, they should know, but I don't think they're the leaders of that back line, even when Thiago Silva's out. Koulibaly should have some sort of intuition around that. But I don't think he was up to the task of, I would say, trying to play well and also lead that back line. So I can understand it. It might have exploited some of Kepa's weaknesses as far as being a leader on that back line and trying to get everybody organized. I can understand that. But I don't think he had the greatest support, especially if you look at the second goal that was scored. Chills was on the back post. Nothing. He barely flinched. And Kepa can only do so much when the first ball is headed, and then all of a sudden it falls to Harry Kane, who's just sitting there. I think it would be tough to say that Kepa was poor. I would lean more towards 1 out of 5. I would say neutral. I would say he would be more of a 3.
So I recorded all of our answers, and anyone that we were split on, or neutral and negative was thrown in negative. So here are your positives and your negatives. Your positive players were Raz, João Felix, Enzo, Reece James, Wes Fofana, and Koulibaly. Your negatives: Kai Havertz, Hakim Ziyech, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Benny Chills, and Kepa. I'm noticing a trend with those negatives. It's seemingly it's these guys week in and week out, right? Ziyech has played just about every match since being stranded in Paris. Ruben Loftus-Cheek has played, like you said, what is this, his third match paired with Enzo. Left back has been an issue all season. Kai Havertz has been terrible all season. We've been talking about signing a new keeper all season. Like, Kepa hasn't nailed down that spot. These guys keep getting thrown out there. It's not to say that there's necessarily better options at all of these positions, but something's got to give here, right?
Right. I mean, me personally, I would have preferred to see Aubameyang up top, because he does have a good track record against Tottenham, especially when he played for Arsenal. He has a good track record against them. Why not throw him up there? You're going to throw Kai up there, your classic, as you so eloquently put it, nothing burger, right? That's basically Kai. Just, he's there to fill a spot. That's kind of how I look at him. Throw Aubameyang up there, see what he can do. I did like the choice of Raz because it paid off. I thought that he was very good. And I think what ended up really screwing everything was when you bring in Mason Mount and then you throw Raz out to the right side. It's like, why? He's been productive on the left. Like, why do you switch that? And Collins, I know I'm feeding into your point so hard. I completely understand that. But, like, to me, it didn't make sense why you would throw Raz on the right or Mason Mount on the left. Mudryk, for the cameo that he had, I loved what I saw out of him. It was exciting. It was fun to watch. It was promising. He did more in those 10 minutes than Mason Mount has done in probably the last 3 weeks. It just goes to show that. And then Mount was out there just like a pissed off teenager, just trying to get in scuffles and not really do anything productive, just trying to rile up everybody. And then he gets a bullshit yellow, which I'll defend him on that. But other than that, he was just trying to get into faces of people, and that's about it. Like, what are you actually doing? I would have preferred to see Carney go out there and try and do something. Even when Dennis was out there, Zakaria, he looked good. He was taking hard fouls and just getting back up, trying to play the ball right away. Like, overall, we have to get away from this idea of entitlement, which I think a lot of these players have, especially Mason, Kai. Like, oh, well, we got paid a bunch of money, so yeah, we have to play. No, you don't. You really don't. It was previous managers that bought you, or you came up through the academy, which is, I guarantee you, that's why contract things are happening with Mason right now and not moving forward. It's like, yeah, you really haven't done a lot lately, and you're really not proving that we need to pay you this ridiculous amount of money because you're not doing jack shit, which I think is perfectly fair. Kai is out there because we realistically have nobody else, but I think Aubameyang would have been a better fit in this match. I think Fofana would have been a better sub. I think leaving Kai, I don't even think dressing Kai, like, I would have been fine with that. Don't even dress him. Don't even make him an option.
He would fit well as João Felix's understudy. Like, I feel like that's his position. That kind of floating 10.
He is. And that's what he did well at Leverkusen. He was just kind of that floating, or as we call it, that like Mason Mount position where he could just float and do whatever. And I think that's where Mason's at his best, but he doesn't have a chance to do that. And even when he does have a chance, he's not producing at all. He's trying to do it all himself. I think Kai would learn a lot from João Felix. But if that's the case, give me João Felix up top. I have no problem with that. Give me somebody who is clinical up top and go from there. I just have a hard time understanding why we don't work with an offense or work with an attack that wants to score goals for the team, not individually.
All right, well, Matt, I think this segues well into our polls for this match. As always, you can check out our polls on Twitter after every match. Just search for us at Flag Down Pod. We got our man of the match poll, traditional best player for Chelsea only. And then we've got our non-traditional man of the get the fuck out of here poll, which is for the worst part of the match. Doesn't necessarily have to be from Chelsea. So Matt, where do you want to start? Man of the match or man of the get the fuck out of here?
Let's start man of the match. Actually, no. Let's start man of the get the fuck out of here award. Let's end on a positive.
All right. So man of the get the fuck out of here. You had 4 options.
Shut your fucking mouth, you'll do nothing. You'll do fucking nothing. Not one of you will do nothing. Get the fuck out of here.
First option was Romero. Second option, Stuart Atwell. Third option, Richie Arlison. And fourth option, Graham Potter.
So many good options. Just, I hate Richarlison because you want him at Chelsea so bad. And just that inner part of me just really wants to just give a big old middle finger to you. I would say Stuart Atwell. That would be my pick. With Romero and Richarlison a very close second.
Potter, as you probably could have guessed, was mine. I thought the tactics were wrong. I thought the team he named was interesting. I thought the subs were wrong, mainly Mason Mount. I thought they were too late. Mihajlo Mudryk. He cost us points, or maybe a point in this match. So Potter was mine. But Matt, like you said, there are so many good options in this poll. It was a 3-way tie. Romero, Atwell, and Potter, with Richarlison coming in last. All right. Well, turning to our man of the match poll.
Mason, right at the heart of that, man of the match. How good a Chelsea performance was it?
Yeah, I'm quite surprised I got man of the match, to be fair.
4 options here as well. Raheem Sterling, João Felix, Kalidou Koulibaly, Reece James.
For me, I would have to say Raz. I think that would be my vote. And the only reason why I would pick him over Koulibaly is because Raz has been on a stupidly bad run of form lately, and he showed out. Koulibaly has been playing well in the last few matches, so I would say Raz would get my vote.
João Felix was mine. Pops up on the left, pops up on the right, pops up deep in defense, and is looking for teammates or looking to make a run wherever he is on the pitch. And it's such a breath of fresh air compared to Kai Havertz, as we just discussed. He was my pick easily. I know that he didn't score. He's only got 1 goal and 1 red card so far for Chelsea, but you can see the talent is there, and it's just he doesn't have the pieces around him, and it hurts. It hurts to watch. So João Felix, at least in my book, was man of the match, and he was the people's man of the match as well. Although we did get a couple votes for who cares and no one. We also got 1 vote for Sam Kerr, as the women's team won 2-0 today. So
I think that was me that voted for Sam Kerr.
João Felix, man of the match. Raheem Sterling coming in second. Reece James in third. And Koulibaly surprisingly did not pick up a vote. So, Matthew, I know there's a lot that we didn't get to, but that does push us up against the hour here. So we'll have to save that for... We'll have to blow up Parker's international minutes and texting data and all that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He's loaded. He's got plenty of money to pay for that.
Right. All right. Well, any closing thoughts from you, Matt?
Not much. Just tough day. And we look towards tomorrow. Collins, I know you're hoping for a different manager when we wake up tomorrow morning, but we look forward to tomorrow, and we hope that we can kind of figure this whole thing out.
When I know that, if you listen to our pod, you know that I was one of the early proponents for firing Tuchel, and I'm not. I think in the realm of Chelsea, with him not meshing with Bowley, I still think it was the right decision. Not to say Tuchel wasn't a class manager, but it was one of the most bizarre firing things, because I did not expect that to happen. And I woke up, one morning, came downstairs, was in the middle of taking a piss, looking at my phone, and Tuchel's fired. So now that's kind of what I hope every morning when I wake up to take a piss, is that I see Graham Potter was fired as well. All right. Well, let me pay some bills here, Matt. We weren't on Twitch tonight, and I don't believe we're going to be next week either, with Parker out of town. He's the one who runs our Twitch. But after that, we should be. So check us out there and give us a follow on Twitch. Just search at Flag Down Pod. If you're busy on Sundays or if you like to listen to the podcast version, you can catch us anywhere that you get your podcasts. All that we ask is that if you're on Spotify or Apple, that you subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. I did just get a notification. We're up to 26 followers on Spotify and 20 on Apple. So thank you to all of you who have subscribed to us on those two platforms. If you're interested in following us on social media, the podcast itself is on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Again, just search at Flag Down Pod. You can follow me, Andy. I'm at Comiskey North. Matt, don't bother. Still suspended. But if you have any questions or anything that you want us to address on air, we're always happy to read what you got. So either come jump in the chat when we're on Twitch. Otherwise, shoot us a DM, leave us a comment, anything like that on social media. So Matt, that's all I got. Let's cheers to hopefully a happier tomorrow.
That's all we got.
I'm all potted out.